I don't know if you're aware of this, Carl, but there were some people earlier this season who were really jumping out the window and saying that Kayvon Thibodeaux was a disappointment. I'm not sure if you've heard that. As we sit here...
Yeah, I heard a little something about that.
You have?
Yeah.
By the way, I've never seen someone immediately get proved right quicker than you did. You can thank my Commanders for that to some degree.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing with our discourse now. People can take a hot take and run with it, and then if you press them on it, this is not based on that situation, but many, you press them on it, and you ask them, how do you know? And if they tell you they never seen the kid play, or I don't watch him, but I've seen enough, then we're in a bad state, right? And then the kid goes out and he plays his butt off, but he's always, you tell me he doesn't do something well. And it's a Dak Prescott conversation. Everybody wants to find out what he does wrong. He's winning, right? And, yeah, Dak, you don't like Dak because of this. You don't like, well, he's winning. He continues to win. So whatever you don't like about him, he'll take winning over that any day.
But what's confusing about it, Don, is Don and I have told the story many times. We saw Kayvon at training camp when he was a rookie. We didn't love our interview with him. He didn't knock our socks off, right? But then we watched him play, and we sort of said, well, personality aside, this kid's a baller. I saw him individually. He's individually beaten the Commanders now twice. He did it last year, too, with the strip sack. So I didn't know what people were seeing that they were so ready to jump ship.
Well, because there was some narrative coming out of when he's coming out of college to say he doesn't play hard every play, and that just kind of took on a life of its own. The kid is in tremendous shape. I don't know what game it was. Seattle game, maybe. He played 65 plays. He came out one play for water. But unheard of for a guy who has to rush to pass or play to run and all that.
But if he was a walk-on, like Wayne Corbett was, we would be going crazy. But he was the 5th overall pick. That's the problem that happens in sports sometimes, that now you're judged where you're drafted. And I think he was put at a disadvantage because he wasn't on a great team. He's the 5th overall pick. And now you're judging him as a bust. It goes on in hockey with Alexei Lafreniere, 1st overall pick. Well, he's not Steven Stamkos. He's not Connor McDavid.
Lafreniere put the team on his back the other day in overtime. So.
And again, if he's taken in the 4th round, we love him, 1st overall pick.
What is there not to like about the kid? His rookie year, he was hurt half the year. And then he comes back and he ends the season with like 4 or 5 sacks. Tackles for loss. So he's dispelling the narrative to begin with. When you say, well, he's a bust, well, he didn't play half his year because he had injuries.
Right.
When he comes back, he's playing well and he picks up where he left off. But it's the negativity that has kind of, I don't want to say it's ruined the fans' experience, but it has taken some objectivity out of it because people who sometimes position themselves as authorities because they talk loud and they can scream you down, people perceive them as right. That's not necessarily the case.
But it's even in politics.
Well, yeah, of course. That's our national discourse.
And also, Carl, you're at a disadvantage because, you work for the Giants, so of course you're going to talk him up. But if anybody,
I don't care.
But here's the you don't care.
2 things can be true. If you've seen me or listened to me on a broadcast, I'm more critical than anybody.
Carl,
you and Bob are more critical.
I make no apologies.
Michael and I, because we have kids, we can't sit there. I'm not a sick guy like Dave Rothenberg who just tells his family to go scratch. So a lot of times I'm in the car, and I love you and Bob, so I listen to you. If they listen to you and how critical you are during games, they wouldn't have that opinion. But in life, it's always, he works for the Rangers.
That's a them problem. That's a them problem. That's not a me problem, right?
Exactly. Well, it shouldn't.
Because if you take your time to listen, then you'll know, I know a little something about this, and I'm not afraid to speak on it.
I want to get to what transpired. We're like talking around it.
Sure.
And I've known Brandon forever. We used to work with him. I consider him a friend. I don't know Sal.
I know Sal too. I don't know
Sal. Was that uncomfortable for you to be put into the spotlight about something that, you walked off the show, you didn't want to be, or they hung up and then you didn't want to come back? Was that an uncomfortable thing for you?
No.
Really?
My father was a great debater. I got no problem with debate. I have a problem with debating someone who will not acknowledge facts. It's a waste of time at that point. And let me just say this. I got nothing but love for Brandon. He's my guy, right? I don't know Sal. But I respect his fandom. I respect his enthusiasm. But the realization came to me after that, yes, nobody wants to be, and I'm saying something, folks, that I've said to them. So I'm not, nobody, don't think I'm taking shots, because I've had these same conversations with them and their program director. Yes, it's disrespectful to be hung up on. But that, we had that conversation. But the realization to me is that that's not a platform I want to be on, right? And I'm not telling you facts are not facts. I think they speak facts a lot, right? But when you want to have a position on someone and you want to ask me about it and you tell me you haven't seen that person or you don't watch that person, then I'm like, well, what are we talking about? Because I'm going to tell you what he's doing. And if you can only tell me what he's not doing, then you're not paying attention to what he's doing.
Were you insulted that you got hung up on?
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah. But you know what? You move on. It's you know, like I said, I had conversations with every one of those individuals, and it just wasn't for me. You know, you realize I'm not. I don't want to say I'm bigger than them, but I'm bigger than arguing back and forth with people. I got a lot of other things that interest that benefit from me doing things the right way. That's how I built my brand. That's how I built the stuff that we're doing right now. Thank you for the support in broadcasting this. But I'm not going to buffoon myself, right? And not that they're asking me to, but going back and forth when a fact is sitting right here as plain as this cup.
Right.
I'm not. It's a cup. Don't tell me. You can tell me it ain't. I'm telling you it is.
Well, and also, like we like to say on the show, you also have a couple of rings jingling and jangling around in your pocket.
That's besides the point, right?
No, but it's worth a level. I saw the anger in the fans defending a guy who brought joy to a fan base here who deserves respect.
You know what? I would tell you, Michael, the thing that got me was I'm being treated like Carl from Sea Caucus. Right. Like, I'm not a regular caller, right? And I try to bring things that are either make people smarter or more informed about a subject. And again, we're done with the you hung up on me part of it. You go home and you sit and you think and you say, this ain't where I want to be. It's not the platform that's for me. And it works for them and good. You know, I'm wishing everybody the best, but it wasn't for me anymore. I mean, it just, when you have that, it's almost like you have that one argument and you be like, okay, no, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, right.
I'm not doing this anymore. Whoever's right or wrong in this, I'm just not doing it anymore. And that was kind of where I was. And again, I don't take shots, because if I'm saying it here, I've already said it to the people that were involved. So there's nothing groundbreaking here.
So did you talk to Gio after his words on the air? That conversation hasn't happened.
It's not going to happen.
Because those were loud words. Those were very loud words.
Well, here's the thing. Without even commenting on it, there are people in life that will say or do things that have zero impact on what you do on a day-to-day basis. Hey, look, bro, that's a you thing. I ain't got nothing to do with that. And so, and given the fact that it's who it is, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not below petty. I'm not above petty. Don't poke the bear, because I can go there, but it's not worth it, because
this man's a hero. You're a treasure.
But it's what it is.
No, it's a person that's comfortable
when you consider
with who he is.
The source. I'm not doing that, right? I'm just not. It's like, go on and grandstand if you want, and okay, you haven't affected my life one day.
Yep. Your money's, the checks are still clearing? Everything's
good.
All right.
Now, before we let you go, is Daniel Jones your quarterback moving forward? Or should they
he is next year.
Should they draft a quarterback with their pick?
I think they'll make the right decision with that. I don't think they're adverse to that.
Has Daniel shown you enough
So, I mean, let me frame this the right way. This is my opinion. It's open for debate if you want, but I'm not debating it because this is what I feel, right? I think he has the requisite tools. Good arm, good height, good speed, right? Can be accurate, but I will say this. He took a step back. I think mentally he was shot. I think
by the time he got hurt.
By the time he got hurt, he was shot.
The lack of time, just constantly
He was getting hit a lot. And, I mean, when I talk about free runners, the one that put him out the first time, he got whiplash. He got hit so hard. And I think the Dallas game, he took some hits late in that Dallas game, and I think that started to set the table.
Why do you think he was still in that game?
Yeah, do you ever?
I question that, too. I think only the coach can tell you that. And probably in hindsight, he probably would have pulled him out. But late in that game, he took some shots. And I think that started the process because every team, and I said it after that game, if I'm a defensive coordinator, at the top of my scouting report, pressure Daniel Jones early, he'll make bad decisions. And I think by the time we got to week 4, he just wasn't seeing it because he had gotten hit so much. So, yes, I think he has the requisite tools. How does he come back mentally is what I want to see because I thought he was a strong kid, but listen, you get hit as much as he did, I can understand why he makes some bad decisions. Broken. But we saw it with the car kid in Houston.
Yeah.
They broke him. He never recovered from it.
Right.
But I do believe in his talent. I believe in his character. But he did step back. I'm not afraid to say that. He made some bad decisions this year, but I kind of understand why without even being an apologist. I do understand why. I've been that guy who hit those quarterbacks and made them
sure
bad.
have.
So.